What's up, guys? What's up? Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Guys, you're on the Cash Geeks Network show, and we have an extra special guest that's going to give a tremendous amount of value, as he always does, and he's very well known. Guys, I'm Dom.
And I'm G.
And this is the Cash Geeks Network, and we have Zach Ginn, and we are ready to go in on it. Warren, throw him on in. Zach, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, doing good. How you doing today?
Dude, every day above ground's an amazing day.
Hell
awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, man, some of them below ground are pretty good, too. Hey, Zach, so if it's cool with you, man, we're just going to go right in and try to pick your brain for as much information as we possibly can to give as much value to everyone as we can. Is that cool with you?
Let's do it, dude.
Awesome, dude. So if we can just start out, because we want to learn as much about you as possible, if you could just give us a little bit of information about who you are, where you're located, and how you got into real estate.
Yeah, man. So my name's Zach Ginn. I'm a 21-year-old real estate investor, wholesaler, creative finance junkie. Whatever happens in real estate investing, that's what I'm into. Basically, I started out in real estate wholesaling when I was 17 years old. So born and raised, basically, Port St. Lucie, Florida, which is in St. Lucie County, which is north of Palm Beach, about 40 minutes north of Palm Beach. And really, that's where I started out. So at 17 years old, I started wholesaling real estate. I can give you my whole story, but basically my dad, Rick, is other real estate wholesaler. And I tried to get into real estate wholesaling with him teaching me it. And unfortunately, he didn't want me to get in the business. So I started doing it myself. Fast forward, graduated high school, made about $100,000 in profits before I graduated, and teamed up with Rick, and now we run the biggest wholesaling operation on the Treasure Coast here in Florida.
Dude, nice. That's awesome. So why didn't so Rick is your dad?
Yeah.
Why didn't he want you to get into the game?
It's a tough business, man. Gonna be honest. It's not for the faint of heart. 17-year-olds probably shouldn't be doing it. But my drive was pretty high, I would say. It was kind of insane. So I got really into doing bandit signs. I was putting about 100 bandit signs out a week for basically 2 months straight until I had enough deals where I could have people do it for me.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So how did that look like? Rick is wholesaling. You're trying to get into the game. He's like, nah, don't do it. You just had to go out on your own. You just started putting out bandit signs and then took it from there?
Yeah, so eventually what happens is he said, if you can get your own real estate wholesaling deals, I'll help you out. But I eventually had to get there. So I actually had to get my first couple deals done by myself without him. So first deal I got when I was in high school. So I was in my class and I got a bandit sign call. And I answered, I get kicked out of class because you're not supposed to have your phone there. So
you answered inside the class?
Yeah, I had bandit sign calls. Yeah.
That's a motivated seller, Tom.
So it was my bandit sign phone number, and I answer it. I leave the class. I always get kicked out because you can't leave and get out. So I answered it, and it was a guy who wanted to sell a property. He actually had a job change, and he wanted to go meet me in like an hour or something. And I run back home. I print my contract out, and I go about to run out. I told my dad, like, hey, I got a contract. I'm really excited. I'm going to get this thing signed with this motivated seller. And he said, Zach, you can't go by yourself. I'm like, yes, I can. He's like, no, you're 17. State of Florida, you can't sign contracts under the age of 18. So he ran out with me. He signed the contract for me, but he went mute on the appointment, which I'll never forget. But he basically went mute there, got that contract signed, found a cash buyer, made about $20,000 that deal. And then a month later, got another deal. And then eventually turned 18. I was able to do it by myself. But Rick really wasn't, he was in the picture. He helped me out a lot. But until after college is when I really started teaming up with him. So I did a lot of virtual wholesaling in college. So I went to college for about 6 months. And then I started doing the college classes online and just moved back here, started wholesaling more.
Nice. Did you finish college?
Oh, yeah. Got my degree and everything.
Oh, nice. That's awesome, man. So, damn, that's crazy, man. 17, trying to do deals.
Well, what's going on
won't help you. Fuck it, gotta
He's
go.
He's a wholesaler. Yeah. But what's going on in my mind is, like, you're only 17, right? So, what's going on in your mind at that time? And when I'm asking that question, I mean, like, it's tough for adults to find the confidence to do this thing, right? You know, we talk to people all day long, and people message us and comment us, and there's a lot of people in the market that know us, in our local market especially, and they're trying to figure out how to approach these people and how to, you know, start the deal with confidence. And you're at 15, just gung ho. Doesn't matter that your dad doesn't want you to get into business. You're just ready to go. And you lined up a motivated seller, and you would have probably contracted it on your own if your father didn't talk to you about the legalities. Correct me if I'm wrong. But can you talk about your mindset at that time? Like, how do you have that kind of confidence to start the way that you did?
I had no confidence starting out. I had a chip on my shoulder. So basically from the age of 14 to 18 really. But it was really 14 to 17. I was a bag boy at a certain green grocery store in Florida. I don't want to get sued or anything, but everyone in Florida knows what I'm talking about. I was basically bagging groceries and scrubbing toilets. And I got so sick of scrubbing toilets one day, I told myself I can never do this again. And that's why I learned about wholesaling. Is I didn't even know what my dad did, but he had a bunch of like $20,000 checks on his desk. And I was like, I got to learn how to do this. So I knew it was possible because I saw him do it. Obviously, he was focused on his own business, which probably feed his family. It's probably pretty important. But I was motivated. I hated scrubbing toilets and bagging groceries. It was the worst thing ever. And I promised myself I want to work hard enough where I don't have to do it. I saw the managers at that grocery store, and they made $50,000 a year. They worked 60 hours a week, and they hated their lives. I knew if I kept doing it, that's probably what I would end up doing. So my motivation was not having a 9-to-5 job and living the life I truly wanted.
That's amazing. How much? So apparently your dad was into real estate, and he was a real estate investor. He tried to steer you away, and maybe he did that tactfully because, you know, when you tell someone to do something, they want to do the opposite. Yep. So it might have been his evil plan all along. I don't know. I got misguided. I was going towards something, and I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Cool. So I'm interested. So what does your business look like now?
Yeah. So right now we run the biggest operation on the Treasure Coast here in Florida. So we pump out a bunch of deals. So a lot of our deals are actually in person. We're a little different. We don't have a big fancy office or anything. I mean, we have acquisitions people, we have marketing people, we have kind of some dispositions people, but really not full-time employees. And we basically run a pretty good operation. I don't want to run a $10 million a year wholesaling operation. I want to run it where I can delegate it correctly and I don't have to work that hard, and I can just do the stuff that I really enjoy in life. That's really the way we do it. We do a lot of direct mail, a lot of SMS blasting, and a lot of cold calling. And then we have people run out to the appointments, get contracts, and we do a lot of wholetailing. So that's why our dispo is a little weird. We're buying these properties and putting them back on the market, and we're putting about $500 to maybe $2,000 on each one, and that's where we make a lot of our profits.
Nice. So is the majority of your business wholetailing?
Right now it is, just because how crazy the market is, but it'll probably shift to more wholesaling if the market shifts at all.
I gotcha. Nice, man. So therefore your dispo is just kind of realtors, or are you guys licensed and you list them yourselves?
So Rick owns and operates a real estate brokerage. So we use the realtors on there.
Okay.
So we get the best rates. We're good on that.
Yeah. And then you don't have to take on full-time dispo people because that's what they do. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So you said you have a couple acquisitionists, marketing, you do cold calling, text blasting. So what does that look like? Do you have one VA, two VAs, do you have any VAs, or is everything in-house? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we have VAs basically from Upwork that'll do cold calling, SMS blasting for us. Again, we try to leverage the most valuable asset anyone in business and wholesaling has, which is time. So $4 or $5 an hour, pretty easy to do. Cold callers probably pump up to $7 to $8 an hour from the Philippines. And we have one acquisitions person right now, and they can handle the load we have. Now, we're in Port St. Lucie, so our average deal is 30 to 40,000. So we're not pumping out like an insane amount of deals. So I'm not doing 50 deals a month, but they're big deals, and we can wholesale them. So sometimes we'll get a $60,000, $70,000 deal out there. So it's very important that we have acquisitions people that are very, very tailored and very niched out to that motivated seller. And it works really well. So that's what we do. We go on as many in-person appointments as possible. We focus really hard on closing deals. We're in a very saturated market. So we focus so much on rapport. And that's where a lot of our focus is at. Our marketing is really simple. We do a lot of direct mail, a lot of cold calling, a lot of SMS blasting. And we're just trying to connect people who are looking to sell the property to our acquisitions person, and we let the magic happen.
Right. That's awesome, man. So in a world right now where wholesaling is all veering virtual, right? Everybody's going virtual. You know, there's trainings now everywhere, how to lock up deals over the phone, right? You can do this in any market. And there's still a lot of people that preach, and it can seem kind of old-fashioned to do, you know, in-person appointments and in the field closings and stuff like that. So why did you pick that model, sticking to that model? And do you see yourself continuing with that model, or not?
Yeah. So our market's very saturated. Like I've said, our average deal we do, our motivated seller receives about 6 direct mail pieces a week. About, I would say, 3 or 4 cold calls every single. Okay, if you're on a tax delinquency list, you're getting at least 3 cold calls a day. If you're probably getting 3 to 4 a week from the average wholesaler, an extra 3 to 4 from realtors. It's an extremely saturated market. There's only 200,000 people living in Port St. Lucie, so it's not that big. And there's a lot of wholesaling deals out there. So everyone from Palm Beach and Miami comes up north here because there are houses that are under 200,000 here, and it's a lot of competition. And there's a lot of virtual guys from Miami and Palm Beach in my market. So the only way to have the difference, if I'm talking to a seller, is to actually be in the house. When you're in the house, you can go find rapport things to build. You can actually put a contract in front of a seller and get a deal done that quickly. And there's still enough margins for us to make really good deals. We've never really done any virtual wholesaling deals over 50,000. So it makes sense for us to have an acquisitions person go out there in person and do it. We do some virtual wholesaling, but the average deal is under 10K. So it's not the best out there for us. But we're pretty focused in person right now. We like to keep things old school and simple, and it works very well for us.
Yeah.
Do you think, excuse me, do you think your focus is on keeping the team that the size that it is, or do you eventually want to add to it and slowly grow it out?
Yeah, so I've debated about this for a while. I can look at it. I mean, we run a very good operation. Just the question is, do I want to work more? So in my operation now, I can work 5-6 hours a week, and that's it. And then it's not very stressful. Like, I make sure the operation's going. Hey, make sure the KPIs are going. Make sure the acquisitions person, hey, here's appointments for the day. Make sure dispo's going well. Make sure the flips are fine. And I can go out there, do videos. That's a hobby I have, and really go out there and just relax. That's something I like right now. We might start looking into scaling more in the future. The biggest scaling we've done lately is just starting JVing with people on our YouTube channel. But right now, we're not trying to push things too crazy right now. We're acquiring a lot of lease options, subject tos, a lot of creative financing deals, and really that's where we're at right now. I mean, we're trying to, of course, get more deals every single month, but we're not like an overdrive or anything right now.
Gotcha. So your acquisitions person has to be very skillful, right? If they're going to work with the cash deals, and they have to be versatile with lease options and subjects too. I mean, he's got to be a very sharp guy.
Yeah. I mean, when I hired my acquisitions person, I have one rule where it's basically 3, 3, and 3. So before I actually give the reins to this acquisitions person, they have to go with me on 3 separate appointments, and they have to see me close 3 deals in person with a seller of $30,000 or more. And then 3 appointments where I'm talking half and my other acquisitions person is talking half, and we both kind of close together for $30,000 plus. And then I have to physically shadow my acquisitions guy and watch him close 3 $30,000 deals. Of course, it might take a couple months for them to do that, but I have to make sure that they understand it that well before I'll give them the reins to our operation. So that's how we know if our acquisitions person is legit or not. They have to get through. It's a gauntlet, honestly, but they get paid very well getting through that. So they're invaluable for us.
That's awesome, man. So 3, 3, and 3. So that's 9 appointments that the deals have to be 30K or more. Obviously, you said you're in, Port St. Lucie, so the deal profit per deal is a little bit higher. How many appointments do you guys have to go to in order to achieve that?
I mean, our closing rate's pretty good. We focus very hard on qualifying sellers too. So maybe it takes 3 to 4 appointments to get like a crazy deal like that. Remember, we do $10,000-$20,000 deals here and there. Like we'll do them. Like we're not going to say no to a $20,000 deal, but we really like to go for the big ones. We recently this year we did a $100,000 deal, and I showed the HUDs and everything. It was insane, and it was amazing. But right now we're just focusing really on the in-person stuff right now. So we'll do some smaller deals, but it'll take about 3 to 4 to hit like a really good one, or maybe 1 out of 2 would be a decent deal for us.
Quick question for you. So one of our core values here at our company is celebration. When we hit strides, we like to celebrate in different ways. Mm-hmm. So the $100,000 deal, that's incredible. We've not done a $100,000 deal yet. Do you guys celebrate that in any specific way? Do you reward your people in a certain way when some kind of stride like that happens? What happens, on your
last
side?
quarter, we took our acquisitions person fishing in the Florida Keys.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, it was nice. I love it.
That's amazing. So your focus it sounds like it's heavily on quality, right? You do a lot of marketing, you try to qualify them heavily, you go on in-person appointments. So quality is the key for you guys. So what about the office structure? Do you guys come collectively to office? Are you guys all working from home?
We're working from home. It's that simple. Our acquisitions person, I mean, we'll talk with each other almost on a daily basis. I'll check the podio. I know exactly where the guy's going, his appointments for the day, the whole schedule. But no, he goes, talks from his little home office. He'll go on the appointments for me, and we'll get the deals done like that. I mean, I'm talking to you from this is my office. So like we have an office here just for all the companies that we run, me and Rick. But really for the wholesaling operation, we really don't have one.
Nice. So I'm interested on how you found your acquisition manager, and then how many did you have to go through in order to get the guy you have now?
All right. So Rick knew this guy from networking, I think, for the past 3 years, and he recently changed jobs, and he was actually a bartender, and he was a very good very good at talking to people, and just shifted those skills over to actually making really good amount of money, and the rest was history. It took about 3 really fun acquisitions training, 3 separate people to get to him. But a lot of really good guys we found are ex-realtors or realtors who aren't really doing too well, or they want to do a little more in the investing space. Bartenders are good, and used car salesmen. That's where the best acquisitions people we found across the country, networking with everyone, has been from.
So you said used car salesman as opposed to new car salesman?
You can do new car salesmen, but the used car salesman got a little more of an edge to them. And they're probably not making as much. And if you can show them they can easily make $100K with you, they're very good on a resume.
Okay. So,
we need to get our employee close rate up. That's 1 in 3. Zach's crushing us. 33% close
We
rate.
qualify like crazy.
I see.
Yeah. So, what I want to do is I want to jump in and ask really quick, or just say to the audience, just so that everyone knows that's watching it. Zach is, very open. He likes to contribute a lot of information from everything that I've learned about him, and we're the same way. So if anyone has any questions whatsoever, go ahead and chime in with all the questions that you have. We're here to help. We're here to provide as much information as possible. And whether it's questions or comments, just go ahead and chime in, and then we'll go ahead and we'll go over it. There are some people asking a bunch of things right now, and if it's cool with you guys, I'm just going to go over a couple of them. So Christian is asking, what keeps you motivated every day?
Yeah. I mean, 2 things keep me very motivated every day. Of course, every day is never given. So I try to live every day as much as I can. But really what motivates me in the wholesaling operation is just, changing my family's life. The more money I can make is the more power I can give on just changing my life, my future family's life. I'm going for legacy in a lot of things. Making more money in my wholesaling operation means I can share more people how I'm doing that on YouTube. I can share more checks, more HUDs. And I truly think that that's the best way to teach someone about wholesaling. And eventually that gets into back why I do a lot of my social media stuff is I'm just trying to change the way wholesaling education is being done. I give everything for free. And the more deals that I do means more content I can give for you guys to help you guys out for free. I give everything absolutely for free. I'm trying to put gurus out of business and trying to give the power back to the people for wholesaling. Because honestly, if my dad never did wholesaling, I don't know if I'd ever even know about it or have the education to do it right. There's no content out there when I started out in wholesaling. I had to learn it all from hard knocks. I did so much cold calling in college that if I had a couple videos to help me out, it would have saved me so much. But I had to cold call 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for a year straight for me to gain the skills, for me to actually start teaching people to get in the business. So it's a grind, but really my motivation right now is to change my family's life and my own life. And it's been changed like crazy.
That's awesome, man. So what is your end goal? Like what do you see your life becoming?
Yeah. So that's a great question. Obviously, I always have financial goals, but they're really not important, more or less, for a lot. I run an operation now where I can honestly shut everything down, take the money I got right now and just retire, live in a nice house and just do nothing. So that doesn't motivate me. I love the operation I have now. And honestly, I just want to keep up the wholesaling game. I'm kind of addicted to it. I really like seeing the numbers go up every single month and helping more people out. So I have acquisitions people that have kids to feed. It pumps me up, but end goal really is to acquire more lease options, more subject twos, get more passive income coming in for me, and build my empire here in Port St. Lucie and the Treasure Coast, and just help as many people as possible in wholesaling. I want to be the authority figure so I can teach people for free how to get in this business and help them out. But right now we're acquiring a lot of funds right now. So if the market starts shifting, we can start doing a lot more creative financing and getting more of the general real estate stuff. But right now we're trying to shift more into a lot of little commercial stuff. So Rick's getting a lot more into like commercial investing, stuff like that, syndication. But right now in the wholesaling part, I probably want to at least double or triple what we're doing now within the next couple of years. But that's kind of the goals I have right now. Who knows what the future is going to hold for me, though.
That's awesome. One thing I'm curious about, because there's so many different ways to get into real estate, so many different options that we all have, right? So we have wholesaling, we've got flipping, buy and hold, Airbnb. There's so many different things that we can do. What made you get addicted to wholesaling, and not only get addicted to it, but you're sticking with it, right? And that's your focus. So why did you choose that?
Wholesaling is the only legal means of becoming a millionaire in under 2 years that I know of in the United States right now. Obviously, I mean,
let's talk about the illegal ones.
Yeah. So, of course, I'm not a natural like NFL athlete. So, of course, you can be in the NBA within 2 years or something like that. But for the average American, if I could put you through training within 2 years, most people can become a millionaire if you have the right mindset through it. Wholesaling is one of the best ways out there. Like you could do Forex and Bitcoin trading, but truly wholesaling is the only way to go out there and make $1 million within under 2 years. That's legal, and you can create a business for yourself.
Okay. So and I know you don't really have to spell this out entirely, but if you want to keep this the answer to this next part general, how would someone make $1 million starting out in wholesaling?
Yeah, I mean, depends if you have a car or not. I prefer everyone if you have $0. I mean, you literally, I don't understand how you can go from $0 to $1 million. Literally, all you gotta do is put in sweat equity. So you probably don't have money for bandit signs. Go out there, start running for dollars. Find properties that are distressed. Honestly, if you go out there and call your local fire department and get the fire damage property list, start cold calling that with a Google Voice phone number, you can get a free deals doing that. Go to your free code violations from the county. Go to the utility department, get the water shutoff list, start cold calling that. Google Voice is free. TruePeopleSearch.com is real. You can get all these free leads Just get a government list that's absolutely for free. Either do that or do a FOIA act. Go to the clerk of the court. Cold call with Google Voice. Use treatpeoplesearch.com and keep dialing until you pass out, and you'll get a wholesaling deal. It's really not that complicated with $0 or Drive for Dollars, which is a little better. But the tools are out there online. It's insane.
Zach, which CRM do I use?
Podio.
I'm messing with you.
Yeah, Podio is awesome. Did you say running for dollars?
You can go running for dollars. It doesn't matter. Do
You don't-
whatever
you
you
don't
need.
like to
Trying to write an address down.
That's amazing. That's the first time I heard that. I kind of like it.
Dude, this is the first time I heard cold call till you pass out. Dude, that's a lot of fucking cold calling.
That's it, man. I have no excuses with anyone. I've been on lives before where I have someone literally that's a new wholesaler talk to me. I said, go drive for dollars. Say, I don't have a car. Go bike for dollars. I don't have a bike. I said, go run for dollars. That's how I came up with that concept.
No legs, go crawl for dollars.
That's it. There's no excuses. I mean, I tell everyone, if you have the money or the time to go out and cold call 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for an entire year straight of just government lists, and you do all of that and you don't get one deal, it's not possible. You will get in front of someone who wants to sell their property and just wants to give it away for cash for their situation. You get in front of enough people on a list like that, you'll get a deal.
Are you saying government lists because those can be typically attained for free?
Yep. And they're very good lists.
Okay. For the audience and the people watching, and maybe for me, what are the government, can you just name a handful of government lists?
Yeah. So probates, code violations, fire damage properties, water shutoffs, tax lien, tax delinquents. Technically not pre-probates because you're using prop stream for that one. But really, probates are one of my favorite ones out there. But stuff like that, I mean, they're very simple. Even you can do divorce lists. I mean, there's so many lists out there that you can go do. But really, driving for dollars is the other one out there. I don't call it a government list, but it's the best. It's one of the best ones out there. So if I had to stick to three, it'd be code violations, probates, and water shutoffs right now.
That's gold. That's gold. So, did you pick those three because that's what's bringing you the best results right now?
That's what gave me the best. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry. And if not, what is bringing you the best results?
Yeah. So those are the best results when I started out, especially cold calling when I had $0 and I actually hustled. So that's what I did to get deals. Right now, we're getting very hot on the vacant land stuff right now. So it's probably not best when starting out, but code violations, we still do deals on. We do probates deals every single month. And then fire damage properties, we've been finding a lot of people doing really well with it. And we've been hitting those lists really hard too. So probably those three also. Fire damage is another one. Some counties can get it a lot easier than others. But remember, the harder it is to get a government list, the better it is for you. Less wholesalers.
Right. And what's your favorite campaign right now? Your most productive marketing campaign? Is it mailers?
Probate mailers are our best ROI right now, but we only send out 200 to 300. It's not that much. I would say our direct mail right now is probably still the best one. It's tried and true. We've never done a direct mail campaign and not gotten a deal from it. So
right.
Yeah, dude, we just got a direct mail contract today.
That's wild.
On West 12th.
The funny story about direct mail. So I entered the game probably right around the same time frame you did, kind of early 2017.
You're 21 as well, right?
I'm 21 as well, yeah. So like the rage at that time was direct mail. So I threw like a ton of money. I moved from Idaho to Jacksonville to like get in. In a small little farm town up in Idaho, can't really wholesale up there. So I moved down here and just skip tracing wasn't quite a thing at that time. Like you just couldn't get data the same way you can now.
Right.
So I just ripped a bunch of money on just straight equity lists off List Source with direct mail. And I calculated, I'm like, I'm going to make it statistically impossible for me to not get a deal or to get a deal or whatever. I didn't get one. So I spent about 20 grand on direct mail.
You didn't get a deal?
I didn't get, but I
know
wasn't
that.
running the acquisitions at that time. I was partnering up with somebody else who was doing the lead gen and the qualifying of the
I was
leads.
going to say, dude, you didn't say that in the interview. Jeez. Who did I bring on the team?
It's funny how you learn the true, honest parts
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
people.
dude.
after
Oh, by
you've
the
known
way,
them
all those
for
deals I
several
said, I
months.
never
I
closed.
never did them.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, so Hayden actually runs our JV
Yeah.
our JV department. So just like you said, you're JVing and stuff. Yeah, so that's what Hayden does with us.
Awesome,
man.
Yeah. So you said you've been picking up a little bit on that.
Oh yeah, it's been insane. I mean, the social media growth's been crazy. But I just get people sending me like Zach, I got a deal here in Port St. Lucie. I need it sold. Okay, here's a cash buyer. Here's the JV agreement.
Yep.
It's
That's
easy
awesome.
for me.
Yeah, man. So what would you say is your like next immediate thing on your to-do list to grow your business right now?
I think right now we're trying to pump up more JV deals. Like we've done a couple $20,000 JV deals. Well, it's 40,000, but we split it. And we only have a fraction of what we can get on social media. So I'm gonna pump that up a lot. I'll probably pump up more direct mail. SMS is getting interesting. We're getting in some unique marketing strategies we can't talk about right now, but we're working on that, and we'll probably release some videos on that in the next coming months. But we got some secret stuff we're working on. It's pretty exciting.
Okay. All for free? You're gonna share it all for free?
Of course.
Hell yeah. Sign me up.
Sold.
Let me pay for it.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So direct mail's working, you're gonna pump more into it. JV's working, you're pumping more into it. Are you wholetailing any of your JV deals?
No, because we got to split them.
Right. Okay. So how are you making the decision on your deals? Like, hey, this one's worth wholetailing. Is there a certain metric that you look for? Or do you always go for the wholesale every time? And then if not, look for the wholesale number? How does that work?
Yeah. So we like to make it very simple. I think you've noticed from my operations. So if we can make about more than 30,000 on the deal and it needs less than 2,000 and a true 2,000, if the roof has a structural issue or anything, I'm just going to wholesale it. If the property is such a mess, if it needs a new roof, we're going to wholesale it. If it will pass an inspection on a conventional loan, we'll wholesale it usually, and we're going to make over 30, we'll do it. Some deals we'll put 10 to 15 into it. If we can really push it, make 70, 80 in profit, but we don't like that too much. So really, if it's over 30K and it's not really a big headache for us, we'll go wholesale it.
Do you find yourself coming into scenarios where you attempt to wholesale it, you're not getting the potential returns that you think you should get, so you decide to wholesale it?
No, not really. It happens the opposite way, where I wholesale a deal, and the guy ends up making like 40,000 on me, the cash buyer, which I'm happy. It's great, and I'm like, oh, I should have wholesaleed that. But the other end, not really. We've had some wholesales that were such nightmares that I'm like, we should have wholesaled this one, but really not that way.
Ooh, can you tell us about one of the most difficult recent nightmare stories?
Oh yeah. So if you go on my YouTube channel, I had a video where I did a wholesale. We ended up making 60,000 on the deal, which was great, but it was very stressful. Where it's all good. I spent $1,000 on it. The only problem is the person smoked in the house, and that was it. And we got some lady with vinegar, and we cleaned everything out, cleaned the ducts. It smelled fine. We put the ozone thing in there. So we go there, we got on the market, we get a contract very easily. We're going to make like 60,000. We're so pumped up. The inspector comes in and they open one of the wires and it's all corroded. And the guy's like, this is Chinese drywall because it's built in 2005. And in Port St. Lucie, there's a lot of Chinese drywall that happened after Hurricane Wilma, I think. But in 2000, whatever the hurricane in 2005 was, so much Chinese drywall. And the inspector just said there's Chinese drywall, and we lost that one, and we had to go in, and we got another contract, and that inspector said it had Chinese drywall because it was corroded. The outlets were corroded, which meant there was too much sulfur in the house. And we were freaking out because that means we'd have to spend a fortune changing everything out, all the drywall. It would have been labeled a Chinese drywall house. We would have lost our butt on that deal. Turns out that I got so frustrated because I I knew it was not a Chinese drywall house because I would have smelled the sulfur. And so we ended up, the lady was smoking so much cigarettes in the house that there was so much sulfur from the cigarette smoke. It was like that. So I had to go rip drywall out, look at where it was built, and then go in the act and look. And it was built in Palatka. And we almost lost our butt on it, but I had to literally rip so much drywall out of the house to prove it was not Chinese. But we ended up, it was fine, but it was a complete nightmare. It was a mess.
What kind of time did you have invested into that deal?
It was about 2 weeks to get everything cleaned out. Just the cigarette smell was really bad. So you had to clean it out, let it soak with the vinegar, and then go out and clean it up again. But it was about 3 months because we lost the contract. We had to get another one and then do it again. So about 3 months in total on that one.
Okay. So now you're living the flipper life. I mean, 3 months in the flipper deal, 3 to 6 months or so. So we didn't get into wholesale for that, right, Zach?
No, we did not.
Do you do any flips at all?
Huh? Say that again?
Do you do any like flips every once in a while, occasionally?
Yeah, we'll do a couple flips. If they're like 70 or 80. We're doing a couple creative finance deals that we're flipping, but we're just cash flowing that one out. A lot of stuff in like Palm Beach County and Broward County, but those ones are really good for like Airbnb or something like that. We'll do, but not really. I mean, we have 4 on the market now, but we've only owned them for like a month, so not really any flips right now.
Are you keeping any Airbnbs right now?
Not Airbnbs right now. No.
No. Okay. Nice.
Okay. Someone's asking here, what's the marketing strategy that gives you the biggest the biggest fat margin deals?
Probates, hands down.
Are you targeting stacked lists or only going after people that's hard to reach? I don't know how to answer that, but
yeah. So we're in Port St. Lucie, so 200,000, and there's a lot of great deals for us. So we do a lot of mail. So a lot of the lists that we do are kind of stacked with each other. So if you have equity and you've owned the house for a while, you're probably getting a direct mail piece from us or a text or a cold call. So they're all lumped in. So if I do the vacant high equity with the high equity for someone that's owned the property 10 years or a tired landlord with high equity, you're still going to be on my high equity list. So they're all pretty much bunched together.
Got it. Naaman is asking, do you ever do, I guess he's asking about digital leads. Do you do Facebook ads, SEO, PPC, anything like that?
We've done them. We've made a little bit of money on it. We've done one deal. Like we made $5K and we spent $3K, and it's too much of a hassle for us. The algorithm changes every month. They're going after targeting. We can't really go after a certain demographics anymore. Zip codes. It's getting a lot more difficult. So we get it. We just do what we know.
Nice. It's good.
Okay. Also, Fred is asking here, what auto dialer, or do you use smartphone as an auto dialer? If not, which one do you use?
I use batch dialer.
Batch dialer.
Okay.
Is there a reason you chose batch dialer, or is that the first one you chose and it worked, so you stick with it?
Well, right now with the Trace Act, we were using ZenCall, and I was I was a Mojo freak because I used to do Mojo when I was in college. It was before there was 10-line dialers or anything like that. And unfortunately, with the Trace Act now, you're really going to be pushed to like 3 dials. So we went back to batch. Same price for everything, except we have all of our lists and skip tracing with batch, so we usually just integrate it together. But ZenCall is a Canadian company, so we just went with the American one that's pretty much on top of the Trace Act because I'm not getting sued. So that's kind of how we came up with it.
Nice. So what do you mean by that? By getting sued?
So like RVMs in Florida, like the Southern District of Florida has done pretty much, case law that you can't do RVMs, and they've come after a lot of people. There's some investors in Miami that have been hit with like $20,000, $30,000 like fines. So I don't want to get in trouble with Uncle Sam or be made get in trouble. That's all I could say. There's a lot of lawyers in Florida, and we don't want to mess with them. So if we stay within the confines of the law, we should be fine. The Trace Act's focusing more about call length. So going from 12 to 3 lines will keep our call length a lot longer. So we should be pretty much protected on there. We're not really too scared of lawsuits, more or less, with cold calling because it's all TCPA compliant. But we're more scared of T-Mobile flagging us as spam, and then we won't get any answers on the calls. So we're focusing more of, you call me, it's a local area code calling me, they're going to answer it, we get a deal.
Right. Huh. So how does Canada and America stop you from getting sued?
You can't stop me from getting sued, but if you call my cold caller in the Philippines and they ask what company we're going to talk, we're just going to say we're regular investors. We're not going to just tell them we're John Smith LLC, here's our address, go give us a lawsuit. This comes back to my bandit sign days of distrust of the government, if that makes sense, where code enforcement was trying to give me a $5,000 fines. Like if they knew who I was, they would have slapped me with it. And I never got caught because every time they called me, I would just, as 17, I would not do this today. But as a 17-year-old, they called me. They asked who my name was so they can go hit me with a fine. I just said, hey, this is just an answering service. And they stopped bothering me. But Canada and the U.S. can't stop you. But what a United States company can do is become more TCPA compliant, where the Canadian company is probably more in line with the Canadian laws when it comes to cold calling. So, and the user interface is a little tougher for Zen Call, but yeah, nothing wrong with them. But we want to be as protected as possible.
I gotcha.
Were you ever doing RVMs at any point? Or
Oh yeah, we did a ton of RVMs back in the day, and then the Southern District of Florida started hitting case law, and they started going after it very hard, and we just stopped. There's people still doing it, but it's getting phased out pretty quickly, and the Trace Act's basically going to outlaw it.
How do you feel? So with RVMs kind of trending that route, how do you feel about the outlook of text marketing? Do you think that will trend more in that way, or is that still a consistent producing marketing form?
It's consistent. It'll probably get phased out in like 2 to 3 years. I'm not really scared of it. I'm still going to, I could be completely wrong. I have no idea. The Trace Act's really going after those, car insurance warranty guys. You guys all know who I'm talking about. Yeah, they're going after them. So if it translates to texting, we'll see. I think texting is going to be here for at least 3 years because who's legislating all this stuff is politicians. And how are politicians raising money? They are texting you. I get 10 texts every political season for me to go do a candidate. So they're probably going to keep texting good. So I'm not too worried about it. So I think texting should be fine. Yeah,
no, I remember just after this past election, it seemed like a bunch of things cracked down. It seemed like AT&T and like Verizon came up with like a whole new, I remember like our delivery rate just tanked and it seemed like something was going to change, but I've never actually thought of it from the standpoint of they need those texts.
Yeah, and they cold call for fundraising. Literally, congressmen and women have booths in the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee where the congressmen and women will actually cold call. They have to cold call in the committee rooms. So they're not going to outlaw cold calling either. The Congress people that write the laws still cold call today. Big donors, of course, but they still do it. It's all public information.
Yeah.
So we need to be donating more to political parties. That's what I'm getting from this.
Yep. I texted Biden. I said, take me off the list. He just never does. He just keeps me on the list.
Cool, man. So are you thinking because of your approach to wholesaling and, in-person closing and stuff like that, are you thinking that you're only going to stay in Port St. Lucie?
I mean, we do multiple counties outside of it. So we'll probably do a little more stuff south. Again, South Florida is booming right now. Everyone from California is moving, and the Northeast, obviously, New Yorkers are coming up. So we'll probably stick to our certain markets right now, start doing a little more virtual stuff, and pump up the JVs. Maybe start getting some cash buyer, build some more around the country and start JVing like that. We really got to look more, but we're probably going a little more south right now.
And is your field guy just covering all of that?
Oh, yeah.
He just goes all over?
Yep.
Okay.
When you say field guy, you mean acquisitions?
Correct.
Okay.
So when do you think you're going to need another acquisition manager, and how are you going to find him?
So I'll probably find my next acquisitions manager. It's bad you got Hayden here, but honestly, it's a fine line between Dominic and G. Here's the problem: you got to find an acquisitions manager that wants to work for you, and they don't want to just suck all your information and then go do their own thing like 6 months later. It's a very fine line. You got to find someone.
He signed there. I will literally end his life.
So it's a fine line because I do a lot of YouTube stuff. So there could be a guy in Port St. Lucie right now watching my stuff that wants to learn this market specifically, what zip codes I'm marketing to, how I'm doing my acquisitions here, that they want to see me shadow with them. And then they're just going to, get all my info and then do their own thing. Say that again?
Oh, that was some weird feedback.
Yeah, I think that was
no worries.
audio issues.
So it's a fine line between someone who actually wants to work for me versus someone who actually wants to take my business or do something. Right. So if I have a guy who's a failed wholesaler, I'm probably not going to hire him. I'll probably find another bartender or a car salesman or another salesperson, and I'll probably have them. Once they go from making $30,000 a year, right here.
Oh my gosh, it sucks.
No, I have a counter question on that. So a failed wholesaler might not qualify, but what about an aspiring wholesaler?
Aspiring wholesaler is interesting. You really got to see if they're an integrator or I like the integrator roles, but someone who is out there doing the visionary stuff, they might be a little more difficult. They give you all these ideas and they might feel they need more deals. When your acquisitions person tells you that you should be paying me more, that's when you cut them off. So you got to be very careful. Someone who has big visions where they want to make $5 million a year, they're probably not best for my operation because my acquisitions person won't make that. But you want someone who wants to make a good living. Usually if they have a family, they're a lot more committed to their work with you versus a single guy who's starting to make a ton of money that is very visionary. So that's kind of what I look at for the next acquisitions person.
Hayden, you're not looking good right now.
I know. You just explained me to a T.
Hayden, get married ASAP.
Hey, Zach, really quick. You sound like a guy that's wise beyond his years. How are you the way you are? I don't know how else to say it because, it takes a lot of people, many decades to get the mindset that you have right now. Is it from your dad? Did something happen in your life that whipped you into shape? My
dad's a big influence on me, obviously, but I just knew from an early age what I wanted in my life. I don't want to be the guy working 80 hours a week. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I'm motivated like crazy just to keep going. But really, I want to change the way wholesaling is being done. So that's kind of what whipped me into shape. I started cold calling like crazy. I hated cold calling, but I kept doing it. And I realized I didn't want to do that. So I learned how to scale up systems from there. Books like Traction are really good, but I guess you're thinking mindset things. I read a lot of Tony Robbins. I listen to podcasts like crazy. I work out every day, so I'll put something educational in there. And I try to stay in a good influence of people who are just very nice people and just constantly want to, help me out, become a better person. But really the mindset I have is I listen to a lot of education out there. I don't pay for any of it, but I listen to the top people and I know what I want in my life and I want to help other people out. So I don't know. I just read a lot of books, I guess.
Yeah.
So Zach, when did
Tony Robbins is a life changer, especially at a young age. If you like you should, if you truly believe everything that he's saying and apply it at a young age, it will whip you into shape.
Yeah. Open doors for you, right?
At what age, Because I feel like everybody's got a childhood. You know what I mean? Like, at what point were you like, all right, I'm just gonna lock up motivated sellers?
Yeah.
At what point is that like, screw the baseball glove? Like, walk me through that transition. Is there a transition?
Oh yeah, I had a breaking point at that green grocery store. Someone pooped on the floor, and my manager made me clean it up. And I said, I'm never doing this again.
I love it.
Oh, but you did it that time.
Okay.
I was working there. I had to get fired. I would have gotten fired.
Right.
It's funny.
I did that, and then I said, I'm never doing this again.
Right.
And then I'm at this point right now, so I'm gonna keep going.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
I think in a way the answer to your question was in your question. It's different for everyone, probably.
Yeah.
I may not have reached the point of maturity yet.
That's
Still
true.
working on it.
Dom is still cleaning shit off the ground. He hasn't.
I don't want to fucking get fired, bro. What's wrong with you?
It's funny. So you do a lot of trying to help other people, and like, so I can think in my life the definitive like breaking point, you know, where it was like, all right, it's time to grow up. You know, you make it work. So with you taking on this role of education, and I see this a lot on the JV side too, with some of the partners I deal with. A lot of this is mindset. I guess maybe I'll start with that statement. Do you agree with that, or do you disagree in terms of like starting out in wholesaling and picking up the dialer and talking to people?
Yeah, I would say it's mindset. I mean, you got to callous your mind to get really good at cold calling, but a lot of it's mindset. I listen to a lot of people in between my cold calling sessions, just get me pumped up and fired up. But if your goal is money, it won't last long. I figured that out pretty fast too in wholesaling.
Got it. So like, as you're trying to coach people, how do you, because like maybe I deal with it where it's like, hey, this person is not taking the action, and maybe it's because they haven't experienced the amount of pain that maybe like I can think of what I experienced, and that was what kicked me into gear. You know what I mean? And I could imagine in your position, you'd probably deal with a lot of people that have the vision or have the idea, but when it comes to the execution, it's almost like the pain hasn't become enough. Is there, just kind of selfishly kind of asking, because if it comes up, in my work, I'd like to know how you handle that with your people.
Yeah. So I'm very emotional when it comes to helping people out, because this is people's lives. I'm dealing with people that have 4 kids. They're a single mom. They're trying to learn wholesaling. And then I got people who are young, ambitious, wanting to go at 18. I see everyone throughout their lives. They do all the YouTube channel stuff. So it boils down to, I've seen guys that have watched my content for months and then they start making 100,000 by themselves. And there's people that have been watching my stuff for years and they got 0 deals. And I boiled it down to one simple thing, and it's just action. The people that will do very well watching my stuff, I give the info for the info is free. It's serious. Like wholesaling is a lock, and my info is the key. All you have to do is just unlock the lock and do it. Some people will take the key and just say, "Hey, I don't know what to do," or this key doesn't work, and they don't do the action. Action is the most important part. So the people that follow my information and hear what I say, which isn't sexy, it's the truth. That if you want to get good at talking to sellers and you actually want to get marketing deals and you have $0, cold calling government lists is where it's at. The more time you spend cold calling, the more skills you gain talking to sellers, which helps your acquisitions, and also you're gaining seller leads, and you can go out there for free. That's what it's all about. And so the people that go out there, take action, and just, I hate the word grind, but they grind it out and they get better and they get deals. They'll do well versus the person that wants the shortcut. How do I not talk to sellers, and how do I not deal with everything and I get deals in my phone? I don't want to talk to anyone either. It doesn't work like that.
Dude, sign me up for that.
Yeah. It sounds like if you want to get good at talking to sellers, you need to talk to sellers.
Yep.
You need to talk to more sellers.
That's it. Like, people like, how do I get very strong, or how do I get like a muscular body? Lift weights. Everyone knows that. It's the people that lift the weights that actually get the results.
Yeah, it's do the work.
Really good
Yeah.
point, yeah.
So Zach, if you had to put a number on it, right? And I know everyone's different and there's different personalities, and some people catch on quicker than others. But if people are going to do the work, how many cold calls would it take till someone gets relatively good at their phone calls?
I use the 10,000 hours method. That's kind of what I do. It takes 10,000 hours to be an expert at something. So if you're constantly talking to sellers for 10,000 hours, you should you should easily make 100K a year with your eyes shut. So it depends what dialer you're using, obviously. If you do it from Google Voice, which you're probably starting out, versus using a triple line dialer versus 12-line dialer, the dialer is going to be different. But generally, if you have a high equity list in your county and you just pull that generally, or you pull together a bunch of wholesalers and you cold call for 10,000 hours, which will probably take you 2 to 3 years, you should easily make 100K. People go to college for 4 years and they'll spend 20,000. So It's like a college education, and you'll get hired any job if you're very proficient at cold calling and talking to sellers. You can go to any job in the United States after 3 years, and you'll make at least $50,000 as a salesperson.
Dude, that's gold. Mm-hmm.
That's Screw college cold call.
Yeah. Hey, man. I mean, for people that are starting, I mean, I think that's pure gold. Like, you know, it's hard because, you know, we actually talked to someone earlier today that had 2 leads and it wasn't panning out to anything and they were getting frustrated, right? So they didn't have the right numbers to help them to understand what it really takes to get a deal. Right. And if what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out how long is it going to take me to get good at cold calling or conversations, $10,000 hours. Well, you can pay someone $10,000 maybe, but 10,000 hours of training or less, you should be great at it, or you should be relatively good at it, and you should be making deals. And if that's what it's going to take so when you say that, like, and I know there's different ways to look at it, 10,000 hours, you should be able to make 100K a year. It sounds like to me that's probably even without a team. It's probably as an individual.
Yep. That's it.
That's awesome, dude. Hey, listen, Zach, we're getting very close to the tail end of this. How can people learn more about you, or where can they find you online or on social media?
Yeah, so I mainly most valuable content's in 3 places. So I have 2 YouTube channels and 1 Facebook group. So you go to Zach Ginn on YouTube, content about me, or you go to Flip with Rick on YouTube, which is me and my dad, and then exclusive content in both of them. And then the Wholesaling Houses for Real Facebook group, which is my free wholesaling mastermind. I also got my free wholesaling course in there. And it's the largest growing Facebook. It's the largest mastermind in the country for wholesaling. And it's the fastest growing Facebook group for wholesaling real estate right now. So those are the 3 places you'll probably find me the most.
That's awesome. So it's a Facebook group, but you also call it a mastermind?
Yeah. So we go live every Thursday. And I'll just do individual calls with people, or we'll just go live all together as a mastermind call. So a little bit of everything.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's an incredible service. So thank you for that, dude. And we'll definitely be looking to follow you a whole lot more, and we'll check out more of your stuff. And I think I'm in your group. I think most of us are in your group.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah,
thanks a lot for doing this, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Rick has given us a ton of information. I'm sorry. I keep thinking of his dad. I'm an older guy. Okay. I'm sorry. Think of his dad. So Zach has given us a ton of information. It's been pretty amazing.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know how you guys feel
Cold
about
call till you pass out.
Yeah, 10,000 hours. You'll be really, really great at it.
Let's put that on the wall.
There was a ton of
Then we
golden
do need
nuggets
that
in
on
there.
the wall.
That
Cold call
needs to
till
be
you
on
pass
the
out. I get that tattooed on my
And your lower back.
dog bite.
Thank you so much for watching this video today. Consider liking this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm so my videos can get shown to more people, so I can help my mission on this channel to help you make over $100,000 in real estate wholesaling absolutely for free. If you're getting any value out of this whole channel or from the clip today, please consider subscribing to the channel. It means so much to me. Have a blessed day.